One of the biggest mistakes people make when they try to build an online community is assuming that attention naturally turns into commitment. On the surface, that sounds reasonable because if people are watching your content, following your page, joining your webinars, or seeing your ads, it feels like the next step should be simple. It feels like they already know you, so joining your community should be an easy decision. But in reality, that is usually not what happens. And the reason is that attention and trust are not the same thing. Getting attention today is actually easier than it has ever been. You can run ads, create content, grow followers, appear on podcasts, speak at digital events, build an email list, and get your message in front of a lot of people relatively fast. But turning that attention into real community members, people who genuinely trust you, engage with you, and want to stay close to your world is a completely different challenge. Because the moment you ask someone to join your community, you are no longer asking for a simple click or a casual interaction. You are asking for a deeper level of commitment. You are asking for time, trust, energy, and often money. And for someone who still feels like a stranger to you, that jump can simply feel too big and too early. That is exactly why so many creators, coaches, educators, experts, and business owners feel like something is not clicking. They are getting views, but not enough conversion. They are getting followers, but not enough movement. They know people are interested, yet when it is time to take the next step, those same people suddenly hesitate. And in most cases, that hesitation does not mean the creator lacks value, and it does not mean the audience is the wrong audience. It usually means the path itself is wrong, because most people are trying to move their audience directly from attention into community, when what people actually need in between is a trust-building experience. That is why the smarter model is not attention straight into community. The smarter model is attention into a paid challenge into trust, and trust into community. Because a paid challenge acts as the bridge between interest and commitment. Instead of asking people to enter your full world immediately, you invite them into something that feels smaller, clearer, and easier to say yes to. It gives them a focused experience with a defined outcome. And that matters because people are far more willing to commit to a first step that feels structured and achievable than to a larger commitment that still feels uncertain. What makes this work so well is that a paid challenge does something content alone usually cannot do. It creates movement. It creates action. It creates involvement. Instead of passively watching, people begin participating. Instead of only consuming ideas, they begin applying them. Instead of seeing you as just another person online with useful content, they start experiencing what it feels like to be guided by you. And the moment that happens, the relationship changes. Once someone takes action with you, follows your process, and starts feeling even a small win, trust begins to form much faster. Because progress builds trust in a way that passive content simply cannot. That is the reason this model is so powerful. By the time someone completes a challenge with you, they are no longer just a viewer, a follower, or a curious lead. They have now experienced your value in a more direct way. They have seen how you think, how you guide, how you structure progress, and what it feels like to move forward with your help. At that point, inviting them into your community feels completely different because now it no longer feels like a cold ask. It feels like the natural next step in a relationship that already has momentum behind it. There is also another advantage here, and it is a very important one. When the challenge is paid, even if the price is relatively low, the psychology changes immediately. The person is no longer just browsing or being casually curious. They are invested. They have made a decision. They have put skin in the game. That means you are not just building trust faster, you are also qualifying the right people while generating revenue at the same time. So instead of spending money trying to force strangers into a bigger commitment that they are not ready for, you are creating a much smarter path where people enter through a smaller paid step, experience real value, and then move into your community after they already trust you. If you think about it, this is how people naturally make decisions in almost every part of life. They usually do not jump into a bigger commitment without first feeling some level of safety, certainty, or proof. They want to see that something works, they want to feel that progress is possible, and they want to know that the person leading them is someone worth trusting. A paid challenge gives them exactly that. It reduces the emotional friction, makes the first yes easier, and creates the kind of momentum that makes the next yes feel obvious. This is also why the idea matters so much right now, because we are living in a world where people are overloaded with information. There is more content than ever, more advice than ever, more creators than ever, and more noise than ever. That means content by itself is becoming weaker as a conversion tool, not because content has no value, but because information alone rarely creates commitment anymore. People do not just want more things to watch, save, or forget in a folder. They want experiences that create movement in real life. They want interaction, momentum, clarity, and results they can feel. And that is exactly why a challenge can become such a powerful bridge into a community. So, if you already have attention but not enough conversion, if people know your name but still hesitate, or if your audience feels warm but not fully ready, there is a good chance the issue is not your value at all. The issue may simply be that you are asking for the bigger commitment before creating the smaller experience that builds trust first. And once you understand that, the whole model becomes much clearer. Because the goal is no longer to push people directly from attention into community. The goal is to build a path that feels natural to the person taking it. That is exactly what CommuniPass helps you do. It helps you launch the paid challenge, deliver the experience, create real engagement, and then move the right people into your online community after trust already exists. So instead of letting warm attention sit there without converting, or spending more money trying to push harder, you create a system that works more in line with how people actually make decisions. First they notice you, then they experience value with you, then they trust you, and only then does the community become the logical next step. So if you want a more effective way to turn attention into real community members, do not rush to ask for the community first. Build the bridge first, because when someone experiences progress with you before the bigger ask, everything changes. The conversion feels easier, the trust feels stronger, and the community becomes something people join because it makes sense, not because they were pushed into it. If you want to see how this model can work for your business, your audience, or your niche, click the link below and see how CommuniPass helps automate the entire trust bridge. Or use our free tool to find your ideal paid challenge idea in under 60 seconds. Because sometimes the fastest way to grow a real community is not to ask for the community first, but to create the experience that makes joining feel like the obvious next step.